Look at all these wonderful faces. Hi, guys. I've been joined by two absolute legends, two good friends. The Blooming Rising gang is back together for a video, and I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. Guys, are you all right? You good?
Oh, buzzing, mate. Good to get the band back together.
Make music no one wants to hear.
Well, it's like that. Remember the Blues Brothers when the blue shaft of light comes down and it's like, let's get the band back together. So the blue shaft of light, Manchester City, bringing us all together.
And you have literally got your camera rested on a keyboard, haven't you?
I'm improvising, so I can't play a keyboard, as you. Like something out of a horror film.
I hope that recorded on this camera. I'm sure you did. And Alex is in a pub. This is brilliant. You've got Scampy on the wall behind you as well. Amazing.
Yeah, got it all. Yeah. That's the only thing in the pub I've not eaten or drank over lockdown. Like everything else I've run out. You can tell that I don't like Scampy fries. Yeah.
Alex lives. Alex actually lives and owns a pub, by the way. If anyone was wondering why Alex just randomly in a pub, I mean, like no context. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's been all right having like draft beer over the lockdown. And do you know what? It's a little bit surreal. Like it sort of feels like something from like a British version of I Am Legend, sort of wandering around in a pub on your own. And it's right in the city centre, so it's completely deserted. And it's mad. Like I sit on the roof sometimes. I try not to understand traffic, but I sit on the roof sometimes watching the sun go down, having a beer, and you can see the whole city and like no one moving. It's a little bit cool and a little bit frightening. And I will say, I've discovered over lockdown, there is no better feeling than sitting naked in your own pub. Oh, what a feeling. Oh, sensational. Just sat there, trying out all the booze. It's good.
Honestly,
I hope you disinfect it afterwards.
Oh, of course, Walter. Of course. You know.
Honestly, at the start of the day, I did not imagine that. But I can imagine it's quite liberating, actually. So I'm kind of jealous in a way.
Yeah, it's good. It's a sense of freedom.
Everyone should try it once.
I'm
sure some of your locals have tried it and stuff as well. I've got Blooming Rising Cup on the go here, by the way. There'll be some people some people watching this video going, who the fuck are these guys here? Not knowing exactly, like, Blooming Rising was a channel a couple of years ago. A few people will be going, Alex Walter. Some people going, who's he? Why is he talking about pubs and naked pubs and stuff with this guy?
It's a bit like, the Etihad when they bring out someone from like Old City, when they go like, oh, look,
Richard Edgehill.
Yeah. And you see kids that are like 12 that are like, who's that? It's sad. People don't know who Sean Wright Phillips is.
As soon as you mention Richard Edgehill, have you noticed some City fans just start booing? You can't help themselves. Richard Edgehill, boo!
Poor Edgy, man. He wasn't that bad. Poor guy.
No, but he came in for a lot of stick.
He did indeed. They were the not so glory days, I guess. I think everything feels like a glory days these days. We're going to talk about football. Go on.
It's funny you should mention Richard Edgehill. I've actually been dead nervous about talking about football on a camera on the internet because I've been doing it. I've discovered LMA Manager 2005, and I've been playing loads of that. But I'm now so far into the game that it's come up to like the modern era, and it's because I've been away from like real football for so long. I'm like, the history of it's starting to blur with real football. Like in my head, Richard Edgehill's my right back for Stoke City in 2005. I'm sort of like, I wanted to say, well, he was all right at Stoke. I remember that never happened.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your takes about, like, I don't know. So Sean Wright Phillips isn't a manager anymore or anything like that. God knows who we're playing. We will talk about some football, though. Largely, how have you guys been getting on before we get into football? Like, obviously, it's a weird world. Have you been all right? Because it's crazy, isn't it? And what do you make of the whole football coming back stuff as well?
Well, I'll kick off then. I honestly, it's a strange one because I've not really thought about football, and I've not missed it at all. Which is, when it's such an integral part of your life. Yeah. Other priorities kick in. So we've got 2 people in the house that are part of Category 1 shielding. So we've basically not left the house at all. We go into the garden, which is a blessing because we've 3 kids here. And, we've had an 18th birthday party here. We've had missed holidays. We've had just an array of sort of family things. Normally we get loads of people together, but with us, we just try to make do and sort of make promises that we will do things when lockdown ends. It's been strange and very, very surreal as well. It's like the world's gone on hold, and the highlight of the day used to be cracking open a beer and thinking 5 o'clock, what are they going to say today? You know, it's are we staying in longer? Is the football coming back? Is are the pubs opening for Alex? So it's all been very, very surreal. And to be honest, I watched a couple of videos before I did this, and I watched the Real Madrid game because somebody asked me about what happened at the Real Madrid game. I wouldn't have a clue because it's been that long, and I did get giddy watching it.
Yeah,
the missed chances and. Listening to you even miss Steve McManaman, the English presenter, just constantly running us down. It's I don't know if you remember Gabby Jesus got tricked and
yes.
Ramos got sent off, and there's McManaman saying, "Oh, that's a dive. He's got to be yellow carded for that."
And you even missed that.
Well, he pushed the. Maybe I don't. I'm exaggerating on that one, but I mean, we're all missing the hairdressers. We're all missing normality in many respects, and we don't know when are we next going to be able to set foot into the Etihad. When are you going to feel safe enough to do that? That could be September, it could be
next year. Who knows?
Could be next year. So we're all sort of struggling in terms of that kind of normality. I mean, I'm like yourself, I like going to a lot of gigs. And, I had tickets for loads of people. I had tickets for Rage Against the Machine. I've always wanted to see them. Not a chance. I had tickets for Stuart Lee. Give yourself a bit of a laugh. Not a chance. So there's these various sort of milestones that you enjoy doing in life that are simply not happening. But I would just sort of finish off by saying it gives you a whole new sense of perspective and what's really important in some respects. That the people that are with you and your immediate family unit, that's what's important, and their well-being and safety. And I don't just mean the coronavirus. I'm talking about you're all in the same boat, all in the same house for prolonged periods, and it's just being cool with each other, and getting by day to day. That's how you find out what's most important. I don't know how you feel, Alex.
I mean, it's been a strange one. In my head, it's still March. It feels like it's been like one
Which
long,
year?
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's been one long kind of bank holiday or whatever, really. I mean, I've been able to keep myself busy, trying to keep myself occupied and everything like that. And I think it's that weird sense of I think it not being normal, not really having any kind of structure. And things like football, you don't realise until they get taken away. As much as it's entertainment, as much as it's just talking away, and it kind of structures your week almost, particularly when it's quite a big part of your life. And with City, it's like Tuesdays and Saturdays, and you kind of build your weekend around when City are playing, or they're on early, or they're on late, or whatever. And having those sort of things, that sort of structure to it.
You're like anchors, aren't they, almost?
Yeah. And that sounds almost like a rely on football. I wouldn't go that far, but having those that sentimentality taken away, it does have a weird effect on you. And with football coming back, which I think you mentioned in the original question, I do find it's myself very much in two minds about it, because I do think there's more important things that we need to get sorted out, and obviously it puts people at risk. And I think Troy Deeney and a few other people have been quite vocal about it. Everyone's been talking about the footballers, but I don't think, particularly in a Premier League game, it isn't just 22 players on a pitch. There's all the managers and the coaching staff and the backroom staff that you don't see. I think Roy Hodgson is something like 73 as well, and I do think Roy Hodgson, I'm sure he's got family at home as well. And then you think all the people that we don't see in football, all the people that work in the offices and work in, the marketing and the logistics and all those kind of things. I think, do we want to put those people at risk? But then also, football's back in it, and I really like football, and I'm really excited to see City, and I want to know how it turns out. And I think we're going to be one of the teams, having a full squad, City are going to benefit from lockdown and coming back, because we probably wouldn't have seen Laporte this season. We probably wouldn't have seen Sane this season. And hopefully tomorrow we will get to see those players, or at some point in the very near future, and we can finish the season really well. So I'm excited about that as well. So I feel very
So on that, how are you expecting the players to react to everything? Because, I mean, we don't really know, I guess, until we find out. Because, I mean, I think it's probably accepted, isn't it, that they won't be at their peak fitness and all that kind of stuff, because it's essentially, we've not even had any friendlies, have we, really? We've not even, where some teams seem to have had friendlies. City haven't had any that I know of, it's all been very in-house and stuff like that. Are we expecting a kind of a dysfunctional Manchester City tomorrow, Walter, or do you think they'll be a little bit better than that?
No, I think they'll be better than that. I mean, City, let's get this right. When you say we've not had friendlies, we could put 11 against 11, and we're talking two of the best teams in the country.
They've been doing that apparently, actually. Yeah, they've been doing that behind closed doors.
You know what I mean? If you're Kyle Walker and every time you look up, you've got Leroy Sané running at you, or vice versa, that to me, if they're going in doing it full-blooded games, I can't see the issue or the problem. I mean, let's get this right. If we're considering in even small percentages that Pep Guardiola has underprepared, that's foolish talk. This is a guy who, he'll be looking at absolutely every single detail that he's got control over. He'll be studying the videos from the Arsenal friendly. You could just imagine him and Arteta WhatsApping each other, just playing mind games, the whole works. We're not talking about an average manager here. We're talking about
Bravo up front,
I believe. It's what?
Claudio Bravo up front, yeah, Pep.
Well, that's it. You know what I mean? He just wouldn't care. But that's the beauty of having a manager like Pep. You know that your team is in the best possible hands.
Alex, what about the big question, I guess, for a lot of City fans? It is weird getting back into the mindset, but the more I start talking about football, the more I enjoy how much I miss talking about it, if that makes sense. But I know that it's trivial, really, in the grand scheme of things, but the Sané thing, do you think he'll be involved at all? Now, allegedly, he is fit at the moment. He's looking pretty hench as well from the pictures I've seen in training. He looks fit, basically, at the moment. He looks healthy. Do you think Pep will use him at all? Because we have got a full squad now, basically.
Well, do you know what? I've got no idea. With Pep Guardiola, it's so hard to predict. I mean, if anything, hello. Sorry about that. I'll start again, so you can cut that if you like.
I won't cut it. It's fine. I didn't get anything. We're all good. We'll just carry on.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. My screen just went weird. Yeah, I think I don't know if Leroy Sané will start tomorrow. I would like to see him, but I'm erring towards the fact that he probably won't start. I think purely because Mahrez was really stepped up for me this season.
So what about just involved in general, though, towards the end of the season? Do you think Pep will use him, or do you think that door's been closed?
Yeah, absolutely. It will have to, because there's going to be so many games. There are going to be 2 games a week. The squad will have to rotate, and that will really, really benefit City. I do actually think coming back to lockdown will benefit City more than other squads, purely because we've got 25 top 4 players. We've got 25 elite players, whereas certain clubs in the league that have smaller squads and only really ever start 11, starting sort of 14, 15 players, will suddenly have to use youth team players and reserve players that we wouldn't use. Whereas City, really, we've got 25 players that are good to go, and that will benefit us. So Sané will get some football. I don't think he will walk straight into start 11, because he will have to earn his place, just as he would lockdown or not. Stephen Warnock made a really good point on Sky a little while ago, and he talked about how certain footballers will go home for 3 months, and they will have home gym equipment, and they'll eat properly and they'll look after themselves, because that's how they are. And I think that will affect Manchester City. Manchester City are those sorts of players that Pep has brought into a squad, really hard-working players. But he said there will be footballers out there, and I think there will be some players even at top clubs that don't know how to look after themselves, don't know how to feed themselves, don't know how to motivate themselves going to a gym without a fitness coach or a personal trainer or whatever that the clubs provide for the players. And I'm really looking forward to seeing which players are coming back in the Premier League.
Bit junky.
Just like the rest of us, just because I've been sort of subconsciously training for man versus food. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of footballers will be human beings just like the rest of us, that will be sitting there piling on the pounds and drinking and eating what they want. And I think we know that most City players won't fall into that category. Kyle Walker, certainly, if the tabloids to be believed, has been getting his exercise and training in. So I think we'll be all right, City. And I think we'll see players like Sané get some football and Laporte get some football. I hope we do. And I hope it's a fresh start for some of the players, maybe like John Stones, that had a little bit of a wobble before Christmas and was getting a bit of stick and a bit of criticism. It's a chance for him to refresh and come back as the elite player that he is.
Do you reckon, Walter, this is a good chance? This has probably been a good chance for, as you said earlier, people to reassess their, their perspective on life. And surely that will be going through the heads of football as well. They're only young. They've only got a short career. Do you think there'll be an element of that? And will it be a positive thing for Manchester City potentially?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, if you look at all the clubs and how they look after their players, there's very, very few players that come out and say they want to leave Manchester City. Once they get into the fold and they realise how well they're treated, it's you're looking at that only being a bonus for City. The fact that they're so well catered for, and they're so well looked after. And what you've also got to pile in on top of all that is this idea we've got, go back to him again, we've got Pep Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola improves players. He guarantees players two things, unlike a video that I saw. He guarantees success, and he guarantees that you're going to be improved as a player. There is a price to pay for that, of course. He's not going to give you an easy ride. But I think City very much, if you ever look at the recruitment policy, we try and buy decent people. I think that's sort of high on the address, on the sort of category or barometer of whether we're going to go and buy a player or not. And you're looking at City players, and just like, I suppose, a lot of the top players at the top clubs, we're talking the amount of money that they earn, which simply means that the equipment and stuff that they can afford to have in their house. I mean, do you remember years ago, Edin Dzeko, when he lived like at the top of a high rise? Now, he'd be going stir crazy up there, He was well into his Netflix box sets and stuff. I think there's only so much of that you can do. But in terms of players, I think you might see certain players who want to go home. That's the only thing that, with the English league, because we import the best managers and we import most of the best players in the world. Whether you've got the likes of Fernandinho or Kun Aguero with his son in South America, who just thinks, look, I've had enough of this. This is what I fancy doing. That might be detrimental to City, but it'd be detrimental to the whole of European football, not just Manchester City. So, players are human beings. And can I just give talking about players being human beings, my absolute man of the lockdown, and I didn't think I'd ever be saying this about a Manchester United player at the start of the year, Marcus Rashford.
What a guy.
He's done. What a guy, what he's done for the local communities within Manchester and beyond has just got to be applauded. You're talking about a humble guy from Wythenshawe who's articulate and spoke about his hardships growing up and how the community helped him, and that's what he wants to give back into. What a guy, what a man, and I'm just hoping that he gets what he gets what he wants in this personal quest of his.
The good thing about that, I guess, is that maybe this kind of space of footballers to breathe and think about their careers and their lives and how fortunate they are compared to some people has maybe given a platform for someone like Rashford to actually kind of pursue that, because he's had basically 3 months doing naff all, like none of them have. So they've had a lot of time to be introspective and look at the bigger picture. And I guess it could. I mean,
he's doing it with his lockdown haircut as well.
Yeah,
he looks amazing.
Bless him, but he's just a person at the end of the day. And maybe we could see a more positive Premier League after this. Maybe we could see, now the players have had time to think a little bit and reassess the priorities. We could see and think, well, we could use our voice a little bit better, because the country is going to need that. We're all going to need it, aren't we? So it could be, it could end up being, I know it's been awful and tragic and horrific, but after that, society could end up hopefully being a little bit better, especially football's got a bit more time to think of it. Bit philosophical, but you never know. Alex, onto the football again. What are your expectations for this season? I mean, I know a lot of people are saying it's going to be weird. I mean, there's a lot of asterisks next to it. Football's changed. The rules have changed. The fans aren't there. But what are you expecting from City now? Like, what's reasonable? And will this season... Basically, yeah. So what are your expectations for football now?
I mean, I'm like everybody else. It's pure guesswork, isn't it? I think I'll be honest. I've almost forgotten how the season was going. If I'm honest with you, it's like I think like all I remember is that Liverpool are about what? Like, is it like 25 million points in front?
Yeah, totally.
And I think we've got to hit the ground running, make the absolute most of it. I want to see the team treat every game very seriously and take it, and I'm sure they will. I think top four. We're going to finish top four. Keep the title race as competitive as possible, and hopefully, I would like to see us rotate the squad. I'd like to see us use some younger players in these games, and use the opportunity that players aren't as fit. And there's 5 subs a game as well, which means I think
that's interesting, isn't it?
There's no excuse now if we're 3 or 4 up not to get the kids on And seeing a couple of the young kids have been invited to train with the first team squad, I think it's great. And I hope we see that beyond City as well in the rest of the league. It's a real shame that fans aren't going to be allowed back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of football still to be played, and who knows, maybe towards the end of the season, maybe like the last fixtures, we might see, 50% attendances or something like that. I don't know, but it isn't the same. It isn't the same. I watched a bit of the Bundesliga, and I've always said this about football. Football it's never actually about the players or the teams. It's always about the people that surround football. All the stories of football are about personalities and storylines, and so much of that comes from the fans and the supporters in each club. And so many clubs get the identity from their supporters. We think about what we think about Liverpool. I think we think normally comes about Liverpool fans. What we think about Manchester United comes from Manchester United fans, and equally Manchester City. I think we are defined by our supporters, and when you remove them from football, it isn't quite the same, and you do lose maybe 85% of what football is, for me anyway. So it will be a shame.
No, I agree.
It will be a shame. I'm excited because I prefer football to like reruns of old sitcoms, which seems to be what television is now. I'd much rather watch a game of football, but I do think it is missing something. And all the moments that we're going to miss out on, like Arteta coming back to the Etihad, would have been great. I would have loved to have seen that and been a part of that and seen a welcome. And that's been taken from us, and a million more. And those will be stories across every team in English football. And I feel bad as well for like teams around Europe and around like the lower leagues, like Coventry City fans, that they've seen their team back into the Championship and they couldn't go and celebrate it like with their team, which I think sucks, doesn't it? Really. And even Liverpool, who will inevitably win the league this year. As much as we all like to stick in and say, "Oh, Liverpool fans are unbearable," they've waited so long for a Premier League title, and they won't get to. We're going to be there, and I think I feel bad for Jordan Henderson. It'll be like the pinnacle of his career, lifting a Premier League title, and he'll do it in an empty stadium. I think there's something quite sad about that, and I think sport loses something. But it is necessary, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it is the new norm, I guess, unfortunately. Walter, I mean, how are you feeling about the game tomorrow? Have you had time to think about it at all, really? Are you just looking forward to just watching Manchester City? Any particular expectations from the game?
Well, I'm looking forward, first and foremost, I'm looking forward to watching the game. It's a strange one after this initial game finishes, we haven't got a great deal to play for in England, in the Premier League, should I say. We're going to finish second. I think we're 12 points off fifth and we're 25 points off top. So 95% of me says we're going to finish second anyway, no matter if we stumble along or if we go and blast every team out of it. What I'm more looking forward to, I suppose, in a kind of weird way, is it the 7th, 8th of August? I'll be hopefully watching that in a bar in Spain, but you never know. I'll be watching the game against Real Madrid, and it's
that's
the
not
Champions
season now,
League,
really, isn't it? That is probably the rest of our season, the FA Cup and the Champions League. You think?
Oh no, completely. And the thing about Pep is he will use the Premier League games to get these players fit, hone their skills, almost as an ideal to go and look at this Champions League game. Arsenal were on a decent run just before when we were supposed to play them.
Yeah, they were.
They were doing all right. So I'm hoping they're knocked out of their stride a bit. They can get into it whenever afterwards. But as long as we get the 3 points. As I said, Alex makes some really good points there. I thought quite important about the idea of if you're watching games, in order to feel part of the game, I mean, ultimately you want to be at the game, but if you can't, I mean, the second best place to watch it is in a pub surrounded by fans of your own team. And then the third best place to watch it is, I suppose, at home with family. Watching a game on your own with nobody in the crowd to sort of relate to, it does feel, well, I'll have a better idea after tomorrow, but when I'm looking at the German games, it just feels soulless. It almost feels dead. But such is the money in the Premier League and the sort of tight margins, I think a lot of clubs would have gone under because they don't rely so much on gate receipts, but how much money would they have had to pay back to Sky? So I think it was almost a case of money make the environment as safe as possible, which is never going to be 100%. But also on top of that, get the games finished, get the money, improve the squads in the summer. expectations, I'm just going to say City are going to go and wipe the floor with them and beat them 4-0. And
Nice.
we're all going to be happy. Kun Aguero's going to score a goal.
I think we're not really here to the fans. Empty stands.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. You know, pulling up the T-shirt, not why always me, but, you know, we're not really here.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be incredible. And these are there's a lot of PR goals that Manchester City could be doing at the moment, you know, which would involve the fans more. And then again, it's up to, you know, people get paid a lot more money than we can dream of to make sure that, watch how the Germans have done it, watch the first few games and learn from every single game that you're doing to try and involve people from outside the ground in.
So, Alex, before we wrap this up, I mean, it kind of is a bit difficult because there's no real form to go off, but a prediction roughly for tomorrow?
I think loads of goals. I think there'll be loads of goals. I think you'll get like defensive errors and that kind of stuff. And I think goalkeepers that haven't played in competitive games for a long time, that sort of thing. I think City will win, but it could be anything. I'll go 3-1 City. 3-1 City.
Yeah, I'm going 3-2 because I think there will be City as well. I think City will win it, but I think there'll be goals in this. Hopefully Walter's right there. 4-0 would be absolutely wonderful. It's just nice to have football back though, isn't it? Just nice to talk about football and nice to see you two guys as well. It's been lovely having you. Thank you for coming on.
You.
And this should be regular now, by the way. We should do this like every single week. After the games as well, if you want to. You have to say yes because you're on the video now. You've got no choice but to say yes because it's going.
I think we've got time on our hands.
A bit too busy.
I mean, I've got literally nothing on. Probably not tomorrow after the game because I'm going to try. I want to watch it in the pub and try and create a pub experience for myself. Try and like pump some pub atmosphere through the speakers. I don't know. I might have a fight with myself. You know.
Just chuck yourself out and like, send yourself home. Guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Thanks, Alex and Walt, for coming back. Absolute legends. And I missed you both absolutely loads. Wonderful guys. And I wish so much I was watching the game with you, but life, you're all good and healthy though, so that's all that matters. For now, guys, make sure to give this video a like and there'll be loads more content around the game. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and we'll see you very, very soon.